Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are very pleased to be joined in the media center today with our great friend, Matt Fitzpatrick. Matt, welcome back to Augusta. It's such a pleasure having you, and thanks for spending a few moments with us, sir. This is your 12th Masters. Can you believe it?
No, I can't believe it. It's pretty crazy, yeah.
And you have made 10 consecutive cuts. There's only one player in the field who has more. Hideki has 11. So you're right there. Yeah. You're right there at the edge. Matt is currently sixth in the world. You've won 12 professional tournaments, including the U.S. Open, and you're currently ranked sixth in the world. You also share a unique accomplishment that only one other Masters competitor has done. You were the low amateur in the 2013 Open, and the low amateur in the 2014 amateur. The other competitor who was low am in both of these tournaments consecutively was Bobby Jones in 1930, so congratulations, that's a nice thing. Let's talk about your preparation for this week. You have a wealth of experience at playing Augusta, and you have a treasure trove of analytics and data. How do you bring, if you start out, how do you bring your experiences playing Augusta National with your fondness for analytics and metrics that will bring out the best of you this week?
Yeah, I mean, I think the experience is the biggest thing here. I think the more you can learn about the golf course, the better. There's obviously so many different things that you need to learn, I feel like, for the golf course, and using the data, I've seen that the more experience you have, the better chance you have of succeeding here. So that's also a nice thing. But I just think there's so much to learn on every different hole, and particularly where they put the pins and where to miss around the greens, as well as just looking at the history of the event and what holes you can be a little bit more aggressive on, and which holes you need to play smart.
I appreciate that. Let's open it up to questions. Charlie?
To just continue on the topic of detail orientation, your preparation, it feels like there are a number of shots out here where there is some considerable debate as to the strategy. We've talked about 3, or how you judge the wind at 12. Amongst your peers, what do you feel like there's the greatest spread or debate amongst the strategy in terms of a shot out here at Augusta National?
Biggest spread, I mean, it probably would be 3, I would say. I mean, you even saw it last year. Rory went for the green. Bryson laid up in that final round. I can see both. I really can. The more I'm here, I can see both. I think the numbers will tell you to go for it. I think if you were to have that shot 100 times, the law of averages would say going for it would give you more chance of playing it under par. But at the same time, I can see on a one-off, if you're feeling great with your wedges, it's a no-brainer to try and leave yourself a good wedge opportunity. So I'd probably say 3 is probably your best example.
William?
Matt, when you're looking back over the experience you've had here in recent years, is there any division made between the data and experience from the years when the course was playing soft versus the years when it's playing firm and fast, which is looking like more along the lines of what we're going to see this week?
Probably just more of a scoring difference, I would say. I wouldn't say I can remember. I always feel like that it plays firm. I guess there's just different levels of firmness. I do remember one year, maybe it was 2021. It was really, really windy the first round, really burnt out. The greens were very yellow for the first round. And I thought, oh, this is perfect. It's only going to get worse. And I think there was a bit of rain that night, and then it never happened. It kind of played a little bit softer for the rest of the week. So I think mainly it's just scoring that will change. But I think if you look over the last 5 or 6, I think the average winning score is like 11 under. So kind of looking at that target to set for the week, really.
Brian?
Yeah, Matt, could you just describe your confidence level right now with your game coming in this week, maybe even compared to previous years?
Yeah, I mean, the most, I would say it's definitely the most confident I've been. Obviously, that doesn't mean that I'm going to go out there and play well. The key is obviously to have as low expectations as possible and as high confidence as possible. So I'm a completely different player to what I feel like every year I'm a completely different player to the one before. I think coming in when I was sort of playing my best, I guess, was probably 2023, but that year I had a bit of a neck injury and you know, it was nice to win the week after, but didn't really have much form leading up to it despite winning the US Open the year before. So this is definitely the most in form I've been coming into this tournament. So yeah, just kind of trying to roll with it and you know, and enjoy that.
Mr. Joseph?
Hey, Matt, what type of momentum does winning the Valspar Championship bring to you coming into this Masters?
Yeah, definitely a lot of momentum, yeah. I think the weird thing is kind of winning and then having 2 weeks off and then you come in again. I think winning the week before or is you kind of a bit more of on a roll, I guess. You've got the same swing feels and whatnot. In that 2 weeks off, there's a few things that just felt like they're maybe a little bit different to Valspar or the players or Bay Hill, and it's just kind of managing that and making sure that I'm on the right track. You know, it's no good going to play 9 holes today and playing out my skin. So yeah, just these 3 days are just about trying to manage myself and kind of keep that momentum, I guess.
Daniel?
A couple answers ago, you said it's only going to get worse, and you were smiling.
What's only going to get worse?
You
sorry?
said it's really firm. It's only going to get worse. and you were smiling.
No,
Do you,
it was in 2000. I thought in 2021
yeah.
It was, yeah.
Do you root for golf courses to get like as hard as possible? Is that what you want?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Me personally, I always prefer that. I think something that I spoke about with my coaches this year is that I've always been a conservative player, probably in the right way, I would say. So I'm probably going to try and hit a 7-iron to the middle of the green or 5 or 6 right of the flag or whatever, pretty much every week. And I think that's changed now. I've been better with my irons and had better strategy. I think that was beneficial for when golf courses got really difficult because my strategy didn't change. I was just playing my normal golf, and maybe guys out here probably played a little bit more aggressive than me. So when it did get difficult, then you couldn't just go 2 or 3 left or right, or you couldn't go at it because if you did miss, you were screwed. And I can kind of just continue my own game. So that's why I guess I've always enjoyed harder tests, because I don't feel like I need to change much. Obviously, having better approach play now over this last 6-8 months, it's I can be a little bit more aggressive, but that's, you know, still doesn't stop me playing away from flags, because that's kind of what I'm used to.
You have made a breakthrough with your irons this year, and it's like you've been a pro for 12 years. You finally make this breakthrough. When something like that happens, are you almost looking back like, how could I not have figured this out sooner?
Not really, because I won the US Open, so you know, I was doing something right at that point. But yeah, I feel like it's always that's the game of golf, isn't it? You know, you're always looking for bits and pieces to get better and improve on, and I think to find it now is obviously really nice. I've obviously got much more experience, much more stability in, you know, off the golf course, and not worrying about keeping my card and stuff. It's different when you first get on tour. That's kind of the things that you're looking at. So I think to find it now is obviously you know, is a really, really nice point, and hopefully, you know, continue with that.
Brentley?
Is there a specific shot that you feel like you've learned since maybe your first few Masters, and how did you learn it?
Specific for this golf course?
Yeah.
Or this might be a bad answer, but no. Like maybe I should be looking at that, but there isn't anything that I do differently here than I do a regular week. I think, particularly now with the tee back on maybe 13, you know, that would be the only one that I can think of where being able to hit like a really long draw or a big draw would be beneficial. Obviously 10 as well. Outside of that, I feel like I can play my own game this whole time. The only thing that probably hinders me a little bit is just my lower ball flight. Just naturally, particularly with irons, driver's fine. I can get away with it around here, but just having that stopping power on the green. But, I think I've managed to hit my irons a little bit with more shape these past 9 months. So a little bit more cut spin on it, which obviously should soften it despite maybe a little bit of a lower flight.
And?
Hey, Matt, can you talk a little bit about balancing your analytical self with the instinct and feel required to play well here?
Yeah, I'm still... I'm trying to treat this week as every other week, as everyone always says. I am comfortable with where my game is right now, and I use analytics every other week, so why would I not try and do that this week too? There's obviously still feel in my game, and I would say probably more in the short game department and putting that, particularly with the way the greens are with so much slope and big breakers, and you definitely have to have feel and instinct there. You can't really use the analytics for that one. So I still have it and still use it as much as I can, but it's one of those that I'm not going to change just for I don't feel like I need to change anyway to play well here.
Dylan?
Yeah, maybe it's inevitable when you win your last start before the Masters, but do you feel like you got to relish what you accomplished, especially doing it after, such a close call at the Players? Do you feel like particularly proud of what you did and you've gotten to enjoy it?
Yeah, totally. I what Scotty said last year at the Open before he won was, you work so hard and you get 5 minutes and then you're on to the next one. I've met since then, obviously I've been fortunate enough to win twice, but I've definitely tried to take advantage of that and enjoy it and really, think, I won, like I beat everyone else for a week, so. Having the 2 weeks off was kind of nice to kind of enjoy that, certainly for the first few days, and think about it. But then obviously once you get back practicing, you are looking ahead to this week for sure.
James?
Just following up on that quickly, I feel like a lot of times when we see a player come as close to winning as you were at the Players, it's very hard for them to find that form the following week. And obviously you were able to do that at the Valspar. So I'm just curious, if you could take us back to Sunday evening of the Players, how did you get yourself in the mindset to be ready to just find that form again the next week?
Yeah, I think there's a few things. Oddly enough, my psychologist has been to 2 events, and one event last year, and the Players was his second event, and he was there on Sunday, so there's not many better people to have, I guess. But I was disappointed and frustrated. I feel like when Cam hit that drive, obviously I had to press myself. It's not like I could have just, I probably could have just hit 5-wood 7-iron like Jack Nicklaus told me on Tuesday at the Bears Club. But I think I was just frustrated because I felt like I left a couple of putts out there maybe, and but at the same time I played really well, so it was like, I guess that's kind of the weird feeling about it. In years gone by, particularly when I've played in Europe maybe, and even a little bit over here, if I've had a good result, I feel like sometimes I've been almost coasted a little bit the following week, and it's like, well, I had a good result last week, I just kind of coast a little bit through the next week, and because it's kind of hard to get yourself up for it again, and also different golf course, it might be a different feel or whatever, and I kind of had the 4 hours to drive there the following on the Monday, and obviously thought a lot about that, and it was like kind of thought to myself that no, if you're playing well, let's keep it going, go out and have another great week and don't take your foot off the gas, basically. And I think in years gone by, I probably could have just coasted to a little bit less intensity and, just kind of going through the motions a little bit. But I was kind of determined that week not to do that. And to come out on top, obviously, is amazing. But I did think that I was kind of, after not being 2 or 3 under through 6 when I had chances to be. I kind of did feel that the tournament people would be miles ahead, and I got to like 7, 8, 9, and 9 under still leading. I was like kind of shocked. So it was nice to be in that position. Terry Moore.
Matt, you're known for your meticulous note-taking. I'm curious, did you start taking notes in your first Masters, and how's it progressed over these years?
Yeah, I mean, I've still got the same notes I took. They're still in my book, you know, little things. I remember playing a practice round with Justin Rose 2014 when I was an amateur. He gave me some advice about the first hole and just hitting it center of the green, giving yourself 20 feet every time, you're never going to go wrong. That's still in my book, so you know, I use that, and just a lot of the stuff is where to miss to different flags, and where the best places are that you feel like you can get up and down and have a shot still, and you know, more likely to get up and down, as well as breaks on the greens, you know, just from hitting putts over the years. Like, okay, well, that one did that. That was a bit different to what maybe I saw, or it needed to do a little bit more. So, yeah, I still have a lot of that in my book.
On that, did you learn something last year that entered your book in the last round, or?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Gary?
Going back to your first Masters, all the way back, can you think of the one shot you hit that was the most memorable that week, and what made it so memorable?
Yeah, I remember. I don't remember too much about it. I just remember making double on the first, so that was good. And then I remember making a great up and down on 17 for par to give myself a chance of making birdie on the last to make the cut and hit a good shot into 18, but missed the putt. So, yeah, it was obviously a great experience. I was thinking about it the other day that it's hard to believe that it's sort of so long ago. And at the time, I actually remember missing the cut and being disappointed and whatnot. But I don't ever remember thinking to myself that that's it. You know, might never play here again. I don't ever remember that entering my head. So to think that this will be my 12th is pretty cool.
Was it a great shot, great chip, or a great putt on 17?
It was a good putt. I was in the front right trap and then hit a bunker shot to like 18 feet or something and made it. Yeah.
Yes, sir, in the back. You, sir. Yes, sir. Mr. Joseph.
Oh, me. Oh, sorry about that. You mentioned having your psychologist with you at, I believe, the Sunday during that tournament. I'm curious, for you coming to your 12th Masters, how important is it, and you don't have to get into any specifics like the conversations you guys had, but just having that mental support when you're going through something that can be pretty taxing, and, you know, especially just not winning time and time again. Just talk to me about how important that is, the psychological aspect of it all.
Yeah, I think it just goes back to the expectations standpoint. You know, I coming here last year, I was pretty lost. Like, you know, I wasn't playing well, and probably like it was basically my lowest point here. Really, I just didn't play well at all. Couldn't figure it out and whatnot. So obviously at that point, it's kind of, well, you don't know if you're gonna what kind of golf is gonna come next. And I think to be here today, doing a press conference, because normally only special people get asked to do the press conferences. So there's obviously a big turnaround. So I think it's taking the confidence from that things have improved so much from where they were last year. But as well as, you know, having that expectations that, you know, you can't have the high expectations of, yeah, okay, I'm playing really well, but golf is golf, and you know, it can change quickly, or it can continue for how it is. So it's just trying to not be too overconfident, I guess, is the better way to describe it.
Is your psychologist here with you at this event?
No, not this week, no.
Mary Kate, I believe we have time for about 2 more questions.
The 13th tee is so secluded from the patrons, the cameras, and the overall tournament buzz. For those who will never experience it, What is it like? What goes through your mind when you're there? What are you feeling? What are you seeing?
It's probably different for me. I've never been in contention here, so it's not like I've kind of been have to have any peace moments up there. It's just kind of, playing every round as it is nothing exciting, unfortunately, to tell you. But I think it is. It's obviously it is really nice. It is. You can't hear anything back there really. Just like a low buzz of the crowd and stuff, and it's obviously a great looking tee box as well. I wish it was a bit further forward for me, but yeah, on the whole, it's obviously it's a nice place to be.
Our last question for Charlie.
Talked after the Valspar win about your work with Mark Blackburn, and specifically the approach play has been amazing. Can you just describe in your words maybe the change in the swing pattern from when you were distance chasing a little bit with the driver and where you are now, and why that's so important, of course, this week with firm, fast greens and the way you're going to need to hit your approach shots?
Yeah, I think to try and put it quickly, as it was explained to me, was that the stack made me go a little bit more lateral and slide a little bit more, which with the driver is great because I can hit like draws pretty comfortably and get a lot of speed from that. I guess being a little bit more lateral, creates a little bit more speed maybe. So that's kind of what the stack did, was awesome for my driver, and that kind of pattern crept a little bit into my irons, and I was trying to hit cuts the whole time with my irons, so that's obviously the opposite of that. So then with Mark, he was trying to get a little bit more, to put it simply, like rotational, I guess, and that was the big focus from when I started working with him, was more rotational with the irons and kind of leave the driver for now. But then I think all that work with the irons kind of crept into the driver which probably balanced the driver out a little bit. And when we first started working, my irons had a real quick uptick, and my driving kind of wasn't quite as good. So yeah, that's kind of where it's at, I guess, rather than sliding, just a little bit more rotational and can control the depth of the club better. The big thing's been like my retraction as well in my scaps, and just shortening my arm length, because if I have more extension, I'm going to catch the ball heavier and close the face as opposed to keeping it open. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being with us. And Matt, on behalf of all of Augusta National, we wish you the very best of luck this week.
Thank you.
Have a great week.
Thanks.
Thank y'all.